Hey, it's Tom again, back with some more comic book reviews. I saw the comments. I saw the one about getting a tripod, and so it won't be so many shaky cams. But haven't done that yet, so bear with me. We're still in the shaky mode. This is Tom from the First to Last to Nerdum. Glad to be with you again, and I was excited this past week because this is the release of Geoff Johns' new line of comic books in the Ghost Machine line. He started this. Now you may know Geoff Johns from DC. He's done some legendary comic book stories there, like with Flashpoint and Green Lanterns, The Blackest Night. He went on to from comics to do DC movies and TV shows, and with the recent shakeup with James Gunn taking over, I think Geoff Johns is kind of focusing back on comic books. He did JSA recently, Justice Society of America, and but then he's focusing on his own line of comic books now, starting with Geiger, a Geiger limited series, and Junkyard Joe. From this new line, he's already done limited series on them, but this is the big release of his whole line. Geiger and Redcoat are in the, I think, shared universe of the Unnamed, and then we got Rook Exodus, which is a sci-fi story that's kind of separate from my understanding. So let's kind of go through it. Geiger, like I said, has been a new has been had a limited series. If you pick this up and like it, there's a trade paperback of the previous stories. And Geiger takes place in the future, post-apocalyptic, and the art's great. Written by Geoff Johns, art by Gary Frank, who is always amazing. Love his art. And sorry about the light here. But the story's basically, look at this. Look at this splash page. The story takes place in the future, post-apocalyptic. Think Mad Max. But yeah, this guy, he tries to save his family before a nuclear bomb goes off. Gets him into the bunker. He doesn't make it, and somehow he becomes this radioactive hero of sorts. And this story gives off very much of a Western vibe to it. Um, Definitely, the previous story did have that, but I had more of a cast character. This is sort of like maybe kind of reintroducing the character. This is an okay jumping point if you didn't, just to maybe get a flavor for it. Another cool thing about this is a regular size comic book, about 20 pages, only $3.99, but it has a cardstock cover to it, which normally, if DC or I don't think Marvel ever does cardstock covers, but whenever DC does it, they charge you an extra buck, so it's usually like $4.99. This is $3.99. This one is 30 odd pages, and it's just $3.99 with a cardstock cover. And Rook is over 40 pages and $3.99 with a cardstock. So just value alone, great value. I think they just want you to give these a shot. Now Redcoat's my favorite so far. It starts off in 1775, which in America. So this unnamed universe spans hundreds of years, and yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure out the connective tissue to this, but this one is, of the three, my favorite of the bunch. Redcoat, he is immortal. If he dies, he comes back, and he's sort of a kind of a bastard, not exactly the hero type, and he think John Constantine of the DC universe, just sort of kind of kind of a carefree, don't really care about anybody kind of attitude. But yeah, hey, look at that. Brian Hitch is the artist. Geoff Johns writing it again. Great stuff. I mean, look at that. I the problem with doing reviews of stuff that you really enjoy, there you go back to just, hey, it's good, it's good, you know. Whereas if you're critiquing something, you can really dig into it. But I mean, and this is where he gets his power. We won't spoil it too much, but you do get some historical cameos. Like, you say, well, that kind of looks like Ben Franklin, and you would be right. You would be right. So the forefathers and these powers are kind of tied in somehow. So and I always like stories that play around with historical figures, and it makes it an interesting juxtaposition. I won't spoil all the surprises here, but I mean, just look at this art. You know, one of the things is a lot of times with Marvel and DC, sometimes they try to go on the cheap and get some cheap artists. A lot of times you get what you pay for. So, you know, if you're paying for Brian Hitch, you're gonna get some good stuff. I mean, look at this. Look at this. I mean, you pay for quality, and but like I said, it's this is a very inexpensive for comic books in 2024. $3.99 for all this. Like I said, this is a double size issue, and you're paying regular price for it. Great story. So definitely recommend. There's this mysterious kid that's following him, and there's a surprise on who he actually is. Think historical. You're not going to guess it, but yeah, definitely check that out. All right, and then we got Rook Exodus. This is the real quick. I think they have a timeline in the back. We won't spoil it, but let me. This advertisement for them all. I think there's a timeline. Yeah. Okay, so this is the unnamed. This is the shared universe, and it starts with Red Coat, and it kind of comes through. We haven't been introduced to the Northerner yet. The monster, Junkyard Joe. Like I said, I believe it's already been collected in trade paperback. This is about a robot that is a soldier that fights during Vietnam, and his group of group of soldiers he's with get swiped out, except for one person, and then that person, and this is Junkyard Joe right there. So he get you, and he fights along, and the guy that survives with him in his company, he goes on to write a Junkyard Joe comic strip, because then after the war, this robot disappears, and right when the guy's about ready to retire from his comic strip, the real Junkyard Joe shows back up, and things go crazy. Very interesting story, actually. I really enjoyed that. And then we haven't been introduced to Widow X, and then we've got First Ghost, which is present day, and then Unknown Warrior, and then in the future you got Geiger. So I'm not sure what the unnamed is. Maybe it's unnamed heroes throughout time, and maybe they'll eventually get together as a super group. Who knows? I haven't read too much in on that or theories, but yeah, Rook Exodus is a fine one. I got these alternate covers. The other ones are really good too, but I like the fact that they make a kind of a poster all together. If you put them all together, and then it kind of gives you pictures of all the characters that are going to be in this line of comic books. Rook Exodus is sort of separate from the Unnamed, and again, this is a comic book, sci-fi comic book. It takes place in the future. It's a sci-fi story, so Earth is kind of dying out, and so they're finding a new places, new planets to go to, and this one got colonized and um, terraformed, and it didn't take. So all the colonists that went to this new world is getting out and getting the heck out of Dodge because all the terraforming's collapsing and the world's kind of ending. So there's like months left to this world, and all the rich people that paid to live here have already left, and the guys that worked worked the planet to keep it sustained, all the actual workers, they're left behind. The big company said, "Oh, well, we'll come back for you. We'll come back for you," but they didn't actually come back for them. So they're trying to. All of them are trying to find ways off the planet on their own. And the main character is this Rook guy, and these guys that work on the planet, they control certain animals, and he controls crows, and that kind of gives him the cool helmet. Again, all of these are written by Geoff Johns. This one's drawn by Jason Fabik. I don't know if I've pronounced his name well or not. Oh, and also shout out to my comic book shop. I didn't shout them out last time, but Kapow Comic Books in Sherwood, Arkansas. If you're in Arkansas, it's a great place to pick up comic books. And I'll put a link to them in the comments below or in the descriptions. And you got supersized bears and bear action, great stuff. And all of the stories are really good. I think Geiger, of all of them, are probably the story's kind of reintroducing the character, so it hasn't got really into the meat of the story, and it's only 20 pages. So I would actually recommend the trade paperback because that really gets into the story, and it's really good. So, but this one's sort of kind of reintroducing the character, so I didn't get into it quite as much as the other ones. Red Coat, my favorite. Rook is very good as well. Again, look at that skyline, great stuff. But yeah, so this character Rook, there's a face reveal with him without his helmet on. But yeah, it kind of gives his kind of backstory in here. We won't spoil it too much. But again, like I said, this is, I think, 47, 48 pages long. Over double size. And it is only $3.99. I keep saying that. But yeah, I was very impressed with what they're doing here. I don't know if the rest of the comic books will be that price in that size. They'll probably go back to just regular size comic books because it's a lot of art to do monthly, and I believe these are going to be monthly. So yeah, check out Ghost Machine. Geoff Johns doing things up. He's separated from DC, Marvel. He's doing his own thing. We want to support the indies, and again, this is his own label and being distributed from Image Comics. Shout out to Image. But yeah, definitely check it out. I'm really big into indie stuff. Definitely support it because I know everybody kind of grumbles about what Marvel and DC does, but make your voice heard on this stuff. Just seek out new stuff. This is definitely quality stuff. If you have checked it out, let us know. But yeah, check out our channel. We're the first, the last, and the nerdum. This is your first video that you've seen of us. Check us out. We talk about all things in the nerd universe, whether it's comics, movies, books. we've got some book reviews. We talk about sci-fi, horror, all the good stuff, fantasy, and we talk about collecting comic books. We had recently a video on a guy that collects VHSs. But yeah, just give us a like and subscribe if you like what we're doing. And I am out.